Alright y'all, today we're going to talk about camper and tanks and vents and smells, right? Things that are important. You know, as it gets hotter outside, the tanks are just kind of hard to, keep the smell out and stuff like that. And sometimes some people get on there on the forums and they're like, hey man, it smells in my camper. You know, what's wrong? I'm using the chemical, yada, 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 okay? So we're going to talk about a few things. So your black tanks have vents on the roof. You want to check those vents, make sure they're not plugged up and all those things. But one of the things that you can do that definitely does help, especially in the heat of the summer, is they make these Rec Pro, or you can get on Amazon. You can find these. They're a solar fan, right? So you pull your plastic vent off, you just install these solar vents on top, and they don't move a lot of air, but they just kind of keep that tank vented out, okay? So I have two black tanks, so I have two of these. I'm going to be putting those on. One of the big common problems in the inside is always making sure that if you have a washer and dryer outlet, that you are capped off on the drain. Otherwise gases will get back in. And then also always make sure your P-traps are full, right? So run all your sinks before you go camping, and whenever you get to the campsite, you know, even if there's a little sink back in the toy hauler, you need to run it too, just to make sure you get water in the P-trap so you don't get any gases back. But the next big culprit is, and you know, I'm sure it goes to the lowest bidder, these are called air admittance valves. You have one at every sink, okay? There's one under the kitchen sink, we have one under the bathroom sink. And these are just like a check valve. They'll let air in, but they're not supposed to let air out, okay? I actually blew on the bottom of this one, and I'm getting some air in, and I was starting to have some smells under the kitchen sink from the tanks. And I actually first thought it was the black tanks, and so I tested the theory, and then I dumped the sink tanks, and the sink tank is where it was coming from, believe it or not. So what you can do is you can go on Amazon there too, and they have air admittance valves, and you can get some really good quality ones. I mean, these are not expensive, but these are like 2 times the seal, one of Amazon best picks. And so I went ahead and got 2 new air admittance valves. We're going to put these 2 solar vents on the roof, and you know, to basically complete all that, these even come with Teflon. You know, I like to Teflon these up and seal them up pretty good. What you're going to need to do that, I've already got the old vents removed on the roof. I'll take y'all up there and show y'all how to prep that surface. But you're going to need a tube of Dicor, and this is just like it's a sealer you see on top of the RV. It's just a white sealer. Like I said, you just go over the top of the seal and the screws. And then you're going to need some butyl tape, which, you know, if you ever work on RVs, butyl tape, you can get this on Amazon. It's like 10 bucks. Honestly, this whole deal for 2 of these valves, the 2 solar things, and the Dicor and the butyl tape, I'm probably 120, 130 bucks on Amazon. So not very expensive to prevent smells or to help with smells in your RV if you want to just upgrade all these items, right? So we're going to get up on the roof, and we'll start on that. I'm going to install these 2 valves down here real quick. Basically, they're just under the sink. They screw on, and we'll get started on putting these vents on. Okay, so you can see I got my surface cleaned off, got everything prepped. One of the first things we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to cut the pipe off, because this vent has a shallower distance than the other one. So you can see you're gonna need to cut off a pretty good amount of that pipe. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that cut off real quick. I'm gonna say about that much of it should be good. Okay, now we'll get all that cleaned up. And then one of the things that they don't do is they don't seal around here. And you know, for me, fumes could get down in there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some silicone, and we're gonna fill that in right after I get this cleaned up. I really like this Lexel. It's a clear base silicone, but it's real flexible. You know, camper, everything moves on camper. So I'm gonna go over these old holes, because we're still gonna be covering them. They'll be sealed, but the problem is the new one has different hole pattern. It's a little bit bigger. We'll seal those old holes up with that Lexol. Sorry, it's out up here. And then, like I said, I'm gonna make a good round around here. I want to seal that pipe off from the inside of the camper. Okay, now I've got that done. We'll just kind of make sure we're filled in with that and sealed to the top of that pipe. Okay, and then if you look on here, you can see I just took some butyl tape. Just kind of went around it. Don't have to be pretty. And then we'll kind of center up over this pipe. And push down. We'll run our new screws in. One thing to remember about Dicor is it's kind of a gravity. It kind of runs down like water. So what I'll generally do is just kind of start going zigzag pattern over the top of the screws all the way back to the base. Just kind of like you see here. You'll go all the way around it, and then this stuff will actually just smooth out. Gravity will do its thing. Just come back to where you originally seamed it, and you can see, I'll get the camera, see how that's already starting to smooth out around there. All right, y'all, so if you're in triple digit weather and it's really hot, you treat your tanks. This is just some things you can do to help. If the video helped you in any way, please hit that like, please hit that subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.